Old Soul Club podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Old Soul Club podcast. Man, it's me here, your man Larry Bragg, and I'm here with my sidekick, my man, my partner in crime, the Pope of Soul, Mr. Phil Redmond. What's up, Phil?
Deus Gloria, brother. That's Latin for glorious day, or in the vernacular of our people, oh happy day. So happy day to everybody. Hope y'all having a good Tuesday.
That's some good stuff, man. That's some good stuff. Hey, man, first of all, hey, Phil, man, we had so many great responses from last week's podcast, man. People just wrote in and said they loved it. Man, they said, hey, y'all were doing a great job. They said they loved the Pope of Soul. I said, that's wonderful, man. So, brother, congratulations on the debut show we did last week. So how was your week after that, bro?
Well, congratulations to you too, man. And I had the same reaction. A lot of comments and a lot of people actually physically calling. Man, I thought for a minute I won that $1 billion lottery here in Texas.
Hey, man, well, you're worth it. You're worth it anyway. You're worth it. Hey.
I heard from people, man, their name would pop up on my phone and my phone said, do you know this person?
Right. Oh, man. Hey, man, I'm in Denver, Colorado, well, Arvada, Colorado still right now, man. So when people listen in, I had a great time at the show that we did up in Arvada at the Arvada Theater, man. It was an amazing night. People came out, Phil. They enjoyed it. We had a blast. The band was slamming. And the recording we did, man, for the new record with the band, it was off the chain, man. There's nothing like a big band sound with horns, man, playing some soul music. It was great, brother. So hats off to all those guys up there at the CJRO, orchestra up in Denver, man. We had a great time on that show. I wish you were there, brother.
Man, I wish I could have been there too, man. I bet the weather is beautiful. And hats off to the Colorado Jazz Repertory Orchestra. I'm sure that they're a talented group of musicians. Well, I've seen them before on YouTube, but I bet you they were all the better for having Larry Bragg standing in front of them. And I could tell that they really love you too, guy, that they really love performing with you. So I bet you it was a fun show. I look forward to the recording, look forward to any YouTubes that they're going to drop, and really looking forward to enjoying that. If I can't be on the road with Larry Bragg, like I told him for years and years, 35 years, we've been friends and cohorts and brothers in music. And I'll tell him all the time, though he don't believe it, before I became Larry Bragg's co-worker, I was a Larry Bragg's fan.
Okay, we ain't starting that again, man. We've been friends for too long, brother. We've been friends for too long. Well, I'm Phil.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, man, what's been going on before we get to music? What's been happening with you? Anything going on, man, we need to know about, as far as, musical things or life things or, just that kind of stuff that just makes people go,
Yeah, man, thank you. I appreciate having the opportunity to tell anyone who does know the Pope of Soul out there, in case we haven't had a chance to speak on the phone personally, I am feeling great these days. I feel like $1 million and ain't got no way to spend it. I've had my challenges. 2021 was a rough one for me, but I tell y'all honestly, I feel like I could get up and run and jump and shoot, which is kind of interesting because I never could do that before.
Oh wow! Then you're really feeling good.
You say I can't play basketball to save my life, but I bet y'all jump on this court today just to show them how serious I am.
Man.
So, now I was gonna say, so your advice for me to just kind of take care of my health and take care of myself has really been paying off. And so, as you know, we're starting. I was able to be available, for this podcast, and Blue Boy Music is growing in clientele, growing in capabilities. I'm really enjoying putting these shows together, and I think I'm going to enjoy this for a long time for all of y'all listening out there. So keep those comments coming, and as we said in the first podcast, if there's something that you guys think that we should talk about that we may have missed, which I doubt we will, we'll be happy to throw it on in there.
Man, that's great, man. You're doing well, and you're taking care of your health, man. Because as men, especially black men, we kind of neglect taking care of ourselves sometimes. When we get these aches and pains, we think that's because we are men. We can just shake it off, but brother. Mental health and health within itself, man, it's something we have to really, 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 really take care of, and it's up to us to take care of each other also. You see a brother in need, musicians, all that, man. We need to just find out how we're doing. You don't hear from a cat, we need to phone in to him and say, hey, man, how you doing? Everything good? And that's what we need to do. That's really important in our lives as we travel, because we travel so much on the road, and our bodies, we take an abuse, traveling on some of these buses. If people only knew how we travel sometimes, most people just see the end result, like the show.
Yeah.
They don't see the bus rides, the plane rides, the terrible food we have to eat sometimes, the crazy hotel hours we have to keep, in, out, in, out. That's really abuse on our bodies, even though we love doing what we're doing. But as we get older, we have to really, really hone that in and really pay attention to what we're doing, man. And so, I'm just saying that, man. I'm glad you're doing well, brother. I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you very much. And like you said, you can't keep up with the Larry Braggs for 4 hours on the bus eating Funyuns and drinking Coca-Cola.
No, man. See, my secret is, Larry Bragg's coffee, which is sponsored. Did I lead into that pretty good?
Yes, you did. The proud sponsor of the wait a minute, let me try it again.
The Old Soul Club podcast, Larry Bragg's coffee, man. Come on.
For that smooth roast.
That's right, man. That smooth soulful roast, baby. Hey, Phil, we brought coffee to the show. So all the coffee that we had at the show, man, sold out of coffee at the show before halfway through the show. So people are really digging the coffee. It's available. Let me just fix that webpage for everybody, man. It's concerts.cafe.com. Concerts.cafe.com. Concerts with an S, .cafe.com. HTTP. So go get that, man. Get that Larry Bragg's coffee. Hey, man, and hey, my new single, I'm working on it, man. I'm not going to tell everybody what's going to happen, but I'm doing a cover of a really classic tune, and it's got some surprises in it, and I'm looking forward to that, man. So that's coming up really quickly. So we're working on that, man. So just wanted to let you know that Larry Bragg's coffee is paying off.
Man, trust me, I'm not surprised at all, man. Just merchandising these days is so crucial to our sustaining ourselves, both on the road and as musicians. So when you have a quality artist and a quality product, I'm surprised that I'm not surprised that it went as fast as it did. Now I have to ask you a question. Did the orchestra director have to crank up the songs about 25 dB because everybody was jacked up on coffee?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I had people jacked up on that coffee, man. You would have thought that coffee had some other stuff in it. The way people was buying that coffee, man. It was, it was great. We had a great time, man. It was a great time. The recording, man, is gonna be cool with the CJRO. Like I said, all of that went well, man. Denver was wonderful. The people in Denver, up in Arvada, Old Town in Arvada, man. What a beautiful place, bro. If you get a chance to come up to Arvada, Colorado, right outside of Denver, and just stay there, man, for a little bit. I'm gonna give a plug. Stay at the Hilton Garden Inn right there by Old Town, and they got everything in walking distance right there, man. It's so cool. It's right so on. Cool, man. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I fell in love with Colorado years ago. A dear friend of ours and incredible rapper, MC Overlord, went on a whole Midwestern tour with him, and we must have played every town in Colorado. I mean, we were in Vail, we were in Aspen, we were in Denver, we were in Boulder. Matter of fact, man, I always joke with people. They say, Phil, have you played with a lot of famous people? And I say, well, I'll tell you honestly, I'm the Forrest Gump of music, okay?
No, man, you're the Pope of Soul, baby.
Look, look, if you see somebody famous in their early stages, look slightly over their left shoulder and to the back,
There were
and
you?
you'll see me. Man, we were playing this theater in Boulder called the Blue Something. And we sound checked, and they said, okay, y'all gonna have to get off the stage for the main act, right? And you know, MC Overlord was such a humble cat, you know, that he took as much pride in giving a great performance, being the opener, as if he was the headliner as well, you know, which he did a lot of headline shows. So there we are, as bands do. You know, sometimes we're community based and we'll just all just kind of gather around each other and eat and break bread. And sometimes things can be a little adversarial, you know, especially when it's somebody that you don't know, and especially if a band comes walking in with a little attitude, you know. So I promise you, true story, I'm not smart enough to make this up. There we are in Little Theater in downtown Boulder, Colorado. I can't remember what year it was. But this, shall we say, Caucasian fellow comes walking down the aisle. This is sound check now, right? Fuzzy pimp hat, full fur coat. Now, we thought he was making fun of our culture. So we had a little bit of an attitude towards him. But when I tell you we stood in that balcony, the crowd came in, he did his first song. My name is Kid! And boy, there was fire and smoke everywhere. And we're all in the back. Don't dig it, ding, don't get, don't dig it, dig it, don't. I ain't never heard Kid Rock it before in my life.
Hey, man. You're the Copa Soul, bro. That's what happens.
Just saying, man. I'm just slightly behind somebody's shoulder and over the left, and you'll see me.
Yeah. But you know what? I want to give a shout also to the guy you was playing with, MC Overlord. MC Overlord was one of the most incredible rappers, man, that I had ever met and known down in Austin, Texas. And he was profound and prolific, man, and the way he put rhymes together, the way he did his thing. And he was just a really nice, joyous guy to be around, humble as he can be, but he was bright. He was in tune with himself. He was in tune with his culture, and he let you know that through his music. And God rest his soul, man. He was a great friend also to all of us down there, man. And I remember he used to sit in with us in the business and just rock it. And it was always a joy to have him on stage with us when we were down there, man. And, you know, I just wish that, you know, he had got a chance to really get his due. But the Lord had another plan for him. But we love him to death, man. And, you know, rest in peace, MC Overlord, my man.
Yes, sir.
People don't know the kind of stuff the fun we had early days.
They just don't know. And once again, there I am standing there. Kenny Loggins come brushing past me. There I was, a huge fan, wanting to say hi to him. He jumps on stage with you, and he don't want to do no Kenny Loggins songs.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and all that kind of stuff happened a lot, man. Terrence Darby, remember him? Came through.
Yep.
Terrence Trent D'Arby came through with his band. All kinds of cool things, man, happened. You know, we had a great time in Austin, Texas, man. We had a great time.
Great time.
And even on tour, man, even, you know, like later on, you know, all these people I met on the road with like Tower and, you know, with the Temptations, man. One of my joys on the road with the Temps is we're in the dressing room getting ready for a show. And who walks in but Leon?
No
the
way.
Actor. Yeah, Leon walks in, the actor Leon, and he was still dressed as David Ruffin from the movie.
Now, my question is, speaking of the Old Soul Club podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about anything and everything. Now, how can you tell when he's dressed as David Ruffin and when he's dressed as Eddie Kane Jr.?
It's a different style. You know, when he was dressed as Eddie Kane, the cuffs on the suit was a little lower on the wrist. When he was dressed as David Ruffin, the cuffs on the suit coat was a higher up, and the sleeve where the cufflinks come out on the shirt was down, so you could see that inch of the shirt coming out of the sleeve of the coat. That's when you knew he was dressed to David Ruffin.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, we're not doing video yet, but I'm doing the move. And if y'all seen the Temptations before, not Eddie Kendrick, David Ruffin, the David Ruffin move where he put his fist up almost like a backwards soul power fist. So the cuffs got to be so the cuffs got to be like that. Oh, I wish you would raise.
Man, that's how you knew. You knew when he came in because Eddie Kane Jr. didn't make as much money as David Ruffin, so the suit didn't fit as nice. So, Leon still thinks he's David Ruffin. He came in the dressing room like he was doing the show.
I knew that was coming.
Man.
Oh,
it was hilarious.
Man.
It was like, he's like, hey, what's up, man? What's happening? I'm like, does he know he's not David Ruffin? Oh, but he's such a nice guy, man. Such a nice guy. Perfect built, like actor. He looked just like he did in the movie. Oh man, It was amazing. He still had on the David Ruffin glasses. Yeah.
Oh, see, now I'm done. I'm done because if I ever had a signature character that I did in a movie, I'd go around dressed like him years later too.
Yeah, man. That was a great time. That was a great time, brother. That was a great time.
Man.
Yeah.
Speaking of the great time that we had in Austin, Texas, and then you ending up in these legendary groups, you've actually brought on fellow musicians that you played with on 6th Street.
Hey, man, I've always been a true believer, man, of when you go up the ladder, you got to reach back and grab some people and bring them up with you. And what happened was, it was a tragedy. We were playing somewhere in Missouri, the Temptations were. And it was a tragic, man, that, Kerry, our bass player, who had been with the Temps like 30 years. Kerry was an incredible bass player, very knowledgeable, man, sweetest guy. He was never, ever late, didn't have no troubles out of him. And he passed away on the road, in his hotel room. And to make a long story short, because I don't want to go into the things, man, because it's really a sad story. But we needed a bass player after that. And I was thinking the only person I knew that played the way Kerry did and knew all of these old tunes, because Kerry and I would sit around sometimes at sound check and he just bust into a bass line of a song of these old tunes. And I knew them. It was crazy. And the only person that reminded me of him was Sultan Cole Jr., who played with us in the business.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I told Otis, I said, I think I know somebody, man. And I called Shelton. I said, Shelton, man, we have a tragedy, man. Kerry passed away. He was like, oh, man, Shelton really, that really hurt stuff like that hurts Shelton to the core.
Yeah.
And I said, but we need a bass player, but we need him fast. And I already knew Shelton knew all of these songs.
Yeah.
He just had to find out what the show was doing, right? It wasn't a problem with him learning songs. He knew those already. And so he came in, he played, they loved Sultan, and Sultan's still there today. Sultan is he's embedded in that now, man. They just love Sultan to death. And so, so I would try to do that all the time, man. I would try to grab people and bring them in wherever I thought somebody could fit somewhere, man, because I just didn't want these guys that I knew were incredible musicians not getting a chance to do what they do on the bigger stage.
Shout out to Sultan Cole Jr., another one of our lifelong brothers, incredible bass player, talented musician. And exciting performer. I mean, not since Verdine White have you seen a dynamic bass player that kind of almost draws your eye over to the left side of the stage.
And his diet consists of, Skittles, Snickers, Reese Cups, cupcakes, cake, ice cream, and he has only gained like 6 pounds in the last 40 years. I don't know how he does it.
Seldon, we're gonna talk about you for a minute.
Bill, we come in the dressing room and we see a trail of them little miniature Reese cup wrappers leading out the floor. And we look at each other and go like, Shelton Cole's been in here.
Sultan Cole Jr.'s two most favorite holidays of the year. You would think it was Halloween because of the candy and Easter because of the candy. No, it's the day after Halloween, November 1st.
Right. That is correct.
And the day after Easter, because you'll find Sultan Cole in Walgreens, CVS, HEB,
Because
Piggly Wiggly.
all the candy is on sale the day after.
Stock up for the year. That's our boy. I've never seen a man sustain on sugar. He is the exception to the rule, man.
Right. And if you never heard him do his Black History Month, his another great moment in Black history, I'm telling you guys, come February, we're going to have Shelton Cole on here almost every week doing his great moment in Black history. Now, it's not what you expect, so just don't even think about it. Just be prepared to have your tickle bone knocked out of your body. That's all I can say about that.
Just wait for it. That gives us a goal to stick around at least through next February. We'll do something special for Martin Luther King Day. We'll have a great moments in Black history. We may even do a chorus or two of the Negro National Anthem.
Hey man, that's a good spot because I want to say, hey, don't forget about my foundation.
Perfectly then.
Right. The Mo City Music Foundation, man. That's my scholarship foundation. I want to always give them a plug on here because that scholarship foundation, man, helps bridge the gap for some of these students, man, and offset the cost for some of these underprivileged kids so that parents can actually afford to send them to college, and then we can give them a little help so they can like ease some of that burden that they have, And along with that, I have the Larry Bragg Soul Orchestra that we do that also helps raise money for that particular scholarship fund. It's a 501c3 charity. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please send me emails. Please talk to me about how you can help. It is the Mo City Music Foundation at gmail.com. You can send emails and I will always send you back something, let you know how you can help, give or just donate to this particular cause, because we take all donations, man. No donation is too small. No donation is too great. So please, if you want to know more, please send me an email at mositta@gmail.com. Mositta, MOSITTA. Or you can send me an email through the Old Soul Club at gmail.com. Also, you can do that. Either way, I'll get the email, and it's a great cause.
Right on, man. And I guess it'd be a good time to let everybody know that if you're new to the Old Soul Club podcast, we post every Tuesday morning at 8 p.m. If you're new to the Old Soul Club podcast, we post every morning at 8 a.m. And you can immediately find us simultaneously on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora. I always forget the third one, man.
And the Larry Bragg's channel, my man.
And the Larry Bragg's channel. So if you'd also like to ask maybe some questions about the foundation and you just happen to be on the Larry Bragg's YouTube channel and watching Larry Bragg's videos or listening to the Old Soul Club podcast, then just leave your question with your comments of love, and we read those as well, and you'll get a response. So we thank y'all for listening. Now, I'm just going to ask you real quick, what made you just say, you know what, I've conquered the world as a singer, as a performer, as a leader amongst men. You know what I'm going to do in this other half of my life? Coffee.
Man, you know what, man? It just, it was something that was brought to me, and it was an opportunity. So I jumped on it, because opportunities come. Opportunities come all the time, and if you don't jump on it, you'll miss out. So, sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But I decided to jump on this and try it, and it's working out really well.
Very true, very true. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for my bag to be delivered myself. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, in such high demand that even the old Pope of Soul himself has to wait in line like everybody else.
It is coming, my brother. It's coming. They have. You know what? Look, man, I got one dude picking the beans, bro. Look. The brother can only pick so many coffee beans, and at one time. That's why the coffee is so good, man. I got a small unit, small operation, bro. I got one brother who picks the beans, one brother who packages the beans, and then a sister that mails the beans out. That's all I got.
Oh man, my cheeks are hurting. My cheeks are hurting. Man, that's
so.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, man, right ahead. Go ahead.
Man, your sense of humor on stage has always been an integral part of your performing. And Friday night at Catfish Station on 6th Street in Austin, Texas, sometimes turned into Def Comedy Jam before there was a Def Comedy Jam.
Well, man, I've always considered myself, and I always tried to be an entertainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would consider myself an entertainer before I would consider myself a singer. So I always knew, like, even from when I college days, man, when I used to go up against guys like Derek McCampbell, who sang in the Mac Band. He had that song, Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue.
Yeah.
I used to go up against Derek McCampbell. And at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, man, we had some incredible musicians and singers come through that university. So I knew that early that there was a lot of people that could out-sing me. So my thing was I would try to outwork everybody that I could come across on stage. So that's what I tried to do. So I tried to incorporate that entertainment side into the performance side with the singing. A lot of people can sing, but sometimes they just look like a bump on the log up there singing. It's like a bird just singing away, just sitting on a high wire. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And that was kind of boring to me, even though the vocals were like amazing vocals. I mean, what else you got besides just this incredible instrument? Do you have anything else to offer the audience that they can visualize and look at or, get involved in? So I tried doing that early. And then when I got into we had our cover band down in Austin, I started doing it more. Like I said, I learned a lot of stuff from a guy named Greg Sane, who I thought was a really good, front man. And I just learned things from him. And then as I got older and started hanging out with other, entertainers, a friend of mine named Alonzo, Bowden, who's a comedian, one of the funniest guys I know on the planet. And Alonzo is he's like the musician's comedian. That's him. He's the musician's comedian, man. Every musician that knows Alonzo loves Alonzo Bowden. He's very knowledgeable. He's a really smart guy. He knows a lot about jazz and music, and he just throws himself into that. But Alonzo is one of my best friends, and I hang out with him all the time, and I watch his show. And so I know I could never be as funny as Alonzo, but I try to incorporate the entertainment side of some of the comedy kind of like shtick that people had back in the day. They had that shtick on stage, the entertainers, like some of the very, very funny comedy teams that was out there. They had that shtick that they had between them, man. They did all these great things. I went and saw Donnie and Marie.
Wait, whoa, time out. Man,
what?
This I don't know if you read the thumbnail, but this podcast is called the Old Soul Club Podcast. I'm not so sure you're allowed to start a sentence with, I once saw Donnie and Marie.
Okay, so wait till I get through with this particular, little twist that I put in. I went and saw Donnie and Marie in Las Vegas, right? They had the Donnie and Marie show, right? So it's Donnie and Marie on stage. And I'm thinking that I'm going to hear all of these popcorn ass songs, and I'm going to be bored to death. But I get there and all of a sudden, Donny Osmond comes out. And Donnie, because they split up the show a little bit, they do their things together, and then they both do like a separate thing at the same time.
Right.
So when Donnie got to his part of the show where he did just Donnie, you start hearing all this soul music coming out of Donny Osmond, and you go like, wait a minute, hold on, this ain't one bad apple. Wait a minute. And so, man, I mean, he's killing it. And I found myself standing up, and I'm the only white dude in the audience. Black dude in the audience, and I'm just having a great time, man. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be liking this. What is going on right now? And so, but when they're on stage together, they have this brother and sister shtick that they do, right?
Right.
And man, it's off the chain. It's like, it's so smooth, and they know each other so well that they're bantering with each other. You don't even know that this is happening. It's just being entertained, and you just love it. It's just amazing. And so that's what I said that about entertaining. You may not be the greatest singer. Marie has done 30 records, but she's not, a singer. She's not a singer. And Donnie's not a singer. But they have this thing, man. They're entertainers. From the days at the the Osmond Brothers show. They have that entertainment side of them, man, where they just have that. They had that vaudeville kind of thing happening within it, and it's just cool, man. It's almost like being on stage at the Carabinette show or something like that, man. Because all those people could sing. Art Carney, all of them could sing. Carabinette, but they had that whole comedy thing. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. They had that shtick, man. And so they brought that to the stage. And that's what I try to do, man. It's my own version of it, but that's what I like to do. And that's what I think I could do better than a lot of people, bring that element and draw the audience into the show instead of just letting the audience look at a show.
I tell you, you must be telling the truth, because having seen you in 30 years go from a career of beginning and then national and then international and legendary group after legendary group, the one thing that was consistent in all of the situations that you were in was you, and I could attest to, no matter if he was in front of the Temptations or in front of Tower of Power or in front of Marcus Miller and the Bob James, that unit, or doing his own solo stuff, Larry Braggs is Larry Braggs. And it's interesting that you should use the word shtick, because that's an old Yiddish word used from the Catskill Mountains. But the funny thing is,
teach, brother, go on, teach. Pope of Soul teaching, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta take my swing, man. One of the comments, I'm gonna put a pin in that. A lot of the comments from last week's podcast were people saying how much they appreciated the history lesson that you gave us all.
Oh, well, man, thank you. But I gotta let you elaborate on this whole Yiddish thing, because I didn't know that word came from that. So please, preach on, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. And the Jewish culture at one point owned the Catskill Mountains, and the most favorite entertainer in the Catskills wasn't the crooners, wasn't the dancers, but it was the comedians. We're talking Jackie Mason, Rodney Dangerfield, think Don Rickles,
Yeah.
And they would say, that guy is pretty good. He's got a pretty good shtick. He's got a pretty good thing going. He's got a pretty good patter. So I find that interesting that, I'm not the only person that used that word, but I never want to say it out loud, because I didn't want it to be viewed in a negative connotation, because believe me, it's not stale or routine or repeat, I'll admit, I've gone on YouTube and I've watched different live versions of favorite artists from city to city and from year to year, and the stick is kind of the same, you know?
Yeah. It's a great thing, man, to be able to entertain and draw people into the show because that's what they want. That's that release they're looking for, you know, and that gives them that, you know, laughter, man, is the great, you know, combat against, you know, sadness. So if you can laugh, you can live a long time just by laughing, man. You know,
Absolutely.
It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile, brother. So you know, everybody knows that. And if you don't, now you know. You heard it here. You know what? I was thinking about what you said about me watching Donny Osmond. So, good friend of mine, Spike DeLeon. Spike was when I was in the Temptations, Spike was the lead singer of the Four Tops. And we were on tour together somewhere. And Barry Manilow was in town. Oh, we went New Jersey. Yeah, we went New Jersey, somewhere in New Jersey. And Barry Manilow was playing that night. And somehow I knew the drummer. Russ McKinnon was the drummer. With Barry Manilow, Russ McKinnon used to be the drummer for Tower of Power. So I saw Russ at the hotel. And he said, Larry, I said, man, can I come to the show? He said, yeah. So he said, just let me know how many tickets. So I told Terry Weeks, the other singer in Temptations, hey, Terry, I'm going to see Barry Manilow. He goes like, what? I said, yeah. I said, you want to go? So Spike overheard me say that to Terry. And Spike went nuts. He goes, you got to let me go. That's my man. Barry Manilow is my man. LB, you got to let me go, man. I got to go. That's my man. So I said, okay. So I call Russ. We get the tickets. We go down to the theater. We walk in, go to will call. We pick up the tickets. We're down front, man. We're about, 8 rows from the front off to the left side of the stage. And Spike is like hyped. And I'm going, is he for real? Dude, Barry Manilow comes on. Spike, they gave us these little light sticks, right?
Yeah.
You know, Barry Manilow comes.
Glow sticks.
Yeah, Barry Manilow comes on. As soon as he walked on the first song, Spike's up, man. He's in the middle of the aisle. He's got my Spike. He's got my light stick. He's got Terry's light stick. He knows every word to every song. And I'm looking at him going like, this is hilarious. And he knows the songs better than everybody else in the audience. I mean, it's only 3 raisins in the whole bowl of buttermilk right now, right? And Spike has floated to the top of the milk. And he's just going nuts. He's just loving it. Barry Manilow would play like 3 notes, and Spike would go, "Oh, that's my song!" And I'd be damned, he knew every word. And dude, he thanked me for about a year for taking him to the Barry Manilow concert, man. I'd never seen anything like it, man. Spike DeLeon at the Barry Manilow concert, man. It was amazing. Great stuff, man. Spike, hilarious guy, man. Oh, man, he's hilarious. So that was I had just thought about that when I said the thing about Donny Osmond. And I remember Spike did that with Barry Manilow.
You can't judge a book by its cover.
The Old Soul Club podcast, y'all. Hey, sponsored by who? Sponsored by who?
Larry
Bragg's Coffee. Smooth, soulful roast, baby.
Just like that voice. I'm going to have to, look, you broke up the phone. I'm going to have to drop in the sample from last week's episode on that one. That was too funny. Look, I've always said that we're going to take this turn for a minute, then we're going to get back to the legendary groups that you recently sang in front of. But when they started piling up like that, I said, we should write a book and have an accompanying CD called Acts That Black Folks Loved Even Before They Found Out They Were White Folks. I was thinking acts that Black folks loved that they didn't know were white. Of course, there's the ultimate. Let's go ahead and start. I know you probably know more than I do. Let's see. Average White Band, Wild Cherry, KC and the Sunshine Band.
Tower of Power.
Tower of Power. KC and the Sunshine Band was like the Buddy Holly of the 70s because nobody refused. No, everybody refused to believe that KC was white.
Well, hey man, look, people who love music don't really care, especially musicians. If you can play, you can play. If you can entertain, you can entertain. We didn't care, except for that Elvis guy. No, I'm just kidding. we didn't care, man. Guys, musicians just love musicians who can play, who can feel the music, who can float around and do any type of thing that you want to do. That you're not handcuffed with a certain guy playing in the band. You got to have the right guy for the right gig. I said that last week. So musicians don't care. Can you play? Okay, good. Can you play drums? Are you a drummer? Okay, cool. I mean, look. Hey, remember? Hey, did you see the movie, man? Some of Soul.
Yes,
and so
I did.
Everybody couldn't believe when Sly and the Family Stone came out. They had Greg Rico back there playing drums. Greg Rico.
Yes.
Playing drums.
Yes.
Is it a Rico? Yeah. So
I thought it was like Go Rico.
Yeah. I can't pronounce his name the right way. I'm sorry. I apologize, Greg. So, but he was the white drummer inside the Family Stone, and everybody said first they was like, "Hey, who's this white dude?" And when he started grooving, it was like, "Oh man, get that man! The white dude is badass." Him and Larry Graham, man, they were like joint at the hip with that groove inside the Family Stone, man. Just like Rocco and Dave was joint at the hip in Tower of Power. It's just it's certain units that just click, and man. But if you take something away from it, they don't sound the same because these guys are like joined at the hip, man. They've been playing together so long, they just know exactly what the other one's going to do without doing it, and that's a beautiful thing to have in a band when you're playing together, man. So that might be the reason why the Beatles got Ringo Starr. Who knows? It was just the way it gelled. Or it was the hair.
No, it was definitely the drumming because Pete Best,
right?
Pete Best, that was the drummer, right? Because there was two guys that left because there used to be five, and it was Pete Best and the guy on guitar. Anyway, I'll cut.
I thought it was Billy Preston.
No, it's Billy Preston.
He's the fifth Beatle. Billy Preston
he is the fifth Beatle.
Yeah, right. Unless it's that guy off Saturday Night Live that Eddie Murphy portrayed.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Stuart Sutcliffe and Pete Best that left the Beatles before they signed that $1 million deal before they made their first $1 million. But Pete Best was a technically better drummer, but Ringo Starr had more feel. He had more vibe. Right. He had more pocket.
Right. And he had the coof, as we would say.
Yeah. I think the movie BackBeat is a pretty good representation of what happened in those early years. One of my favorite scenes was speaking of Larry Bragg's Coffee, the Beatles had a house gig at the Cavern in Hamburg, Germany. And you talk about playing some killer hours. I mean, they were playing like from 8:00 at night to like 4 a.m. or something crazy like that, So that's when they were introduced to, I guess, what was their version of speed. And it was funny in the movie BackBeat, they go on break and he said, man, your break is 5 minutes and they've already been playing like 4 hours. And they come back. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to be your father, baby. I want to be your man. You got to watch it, man. It's a hilarious scene. The camera's doing quick cuts. And
yeah. That's hilarious. That's hilarious stuff, man. Speaking of playing long hours, Tower used to play like five gigs in one day. They would start playing like at 4 in the afternoon, and they would play until like I don't know, 1 in the morning, and then back in the day they had these after hours clubs they would go up to like, Antioch and all those places up there, and they
Uh-huh.
would play at another club that would start playing like at 3 a.m.
Wow.
and play that gig. And Millie will go like, yeah, man, we make like $75. just crazy stuff like that, man. But they got so tight because they didn't have a lot of gigs, so they had a lot of time to rehearse. So they would rehearse like 8, 9, 10 hours a day,
Yeah.
and that's how the Tower Sound actually developed. That was kind of cool. That's kind of a cool thing, man. So, man, hey, brother, listen, we're having a great time on this podcast today from the Old Soul Club, but we got to get to the Q, Ru, and A section of the podcast.
You're absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely right. And so here we go. I'm going to ask Larry Braggs a couple of questions. He had some very insightful thoughts while we were off camera. I might insert some of those. But for now, I'm just going to ask. Last week's episode was about what is soul, the definition, where it came from. Very, very thorough, my brother. But we've already touched upon it, and I really want you to put that historian part of your brain to the whole performing. The consistent performing that you've done, the thread that goes through every band that you've played with up until your arrival in California, and then the Bay Area, and then on and on and on, and then ultimately with your own records and singles. Be on the lookout for those at Larry Bragg's Music on YouTube and the Larry Bragg YouTube channel. So I believe that you probably have a philosophy or an approach that gives you that continuous, or no, I should say that consistent.
What is the question, man?
Hey, man, tell the people how you do what you do.
You know what? I mean, I'm blessed with a gift that God gave me, and I try to use this gift to the best of my ability. And I'm still learning how to use it because He gives it to you, and you have to like polish it to till it sparkles like gold. It has to sparkle like that gold, man. It has to be a diamond in the rough. You have to get that sparkle out of it, that diamond to gleam and shine. And it's not there yet, but I'm trying. So I have the attitude on the stage that I would try just about anything to see what works. If it doesn't work, you don't do it again. But I try not to be timid. But I tell people all the time when they ask me this question, I said, before I come out on stage, I'm a nervous wreck backstage inside my head, because all these years of playing, I'm still wondering if I come out on that stage, will people like me? Will they enjoy what I'm doing? Will they have a great time? Will I accomplish what I want to accomplish with the audience? So before the show, I'm a nervous wreck. So when I come out there, man, I am looking for the right energy, I guess, for lack of a better word, because energy feeds energy, good energy or bad energy. And I come out, and if I just see a few people having a good time, I'm relaxed just to see the smile on folks' faces, knowing that, hey, they're enjoying this show, because I can't look someone in the eye and sing. I've never had that ability to do that, to just lock in on a person and look them in the eye, because if I do, I completely forget the lyrics to the song. It has happened before. So I try to like look over the top of people's heads, and not really look anybody in the eye. But now with my, my vision being kind of screwed up, it doesn't matter if I look you in the eye or not. So, but that's what I try to do, man. I try to come out, get the folks comfortable, get them comfortable with me, and then try to draw them into the show little by little. Just keep drawing them in to the point that I have them, lack of a better word, eating out of my hand, and then I know that we're both having a good time. That's when I know that I can say whatever I want to say and do whatever I want to do. And it's not going to be with malice with folks. And I try never to do that. Never to do that. Try to insult people or anything like that. It's all in fun and game and sport. And I try to use that like my friend, the comedians do. Comedians will say anything. Nothing's off limits to them. You know, they will use that to their advantage to have a comedic moment, to have a joke. Mm-hmm. So I try to like incorporate the band into the show, incorporate the audience into the show, incorporate anybody that's in the building into the show and make this show happen. And I've been trying to do that. And that's my whole thing, man. I guess that's my shtick, trying to put everybody into this show and we're one community, one band, one sound in that particular moment.
That's cool. But that's very unfair, man. Because every time I get ready to ask a second question, you've already answered as if you were reading my mind. So I'm going to take our last few minutes.
Well, you have a small mind.
It don't take long to get across the room, huh? From one side to the other.
No. But go ahead. No, ask your question.
Second question, man. I don't know why some voice in my head said a couple of days ago, as I was contemplating my own longevity and what the future may hold for me. Is it more important with doing what we do as a musician? Is it more important to be known or to be remembered? I would make it personal and ask, which would you rather be? Would you rather be known or would you rather be remembered? Because that's the way it was posed to me by this phantom voice that, you know, I heard when nobody was in the room. But you know how it is.
Here's the thing. You want to be able to, after you're gone, after you're dust to dust, ashes to ashes, what did you do to make the world better? How many lives did you touch while you were here? What good deeds did you do that can make this place continue to be prosperous and continue to have people be good to each other? So, do you just want to be known? There's a lot of people known, but what have they done? You know, what did you do? Who did you help along the way? When people remember you, will they remember you for like, oh yeah, that's that guy that had that song, right? Or they're gonna remember you for like, hey man, he did some great work when he was here. He touched a lot of lives. Yeah. He saved me from this. He helped my family do this. Hey man, he watched over my kids when I was doing this. He did this for me. He did this XYZ. So, I mean, what do you want to be known for or do you want to be remembered? You know, that's an important question that you have to ask, because we're here to make the world better. You know, what contributions are you going to do while you're here? Not just soak up everything you can soak up and take from what the world can give you. What are you going to give back? And that's not something that, you know, people need to know that you did all these wonderful things. I'm not saying that, have that kind of attitude where, you know, you just think you're like the greatest thing since sliced bread and you're letting everybody know what you do.
Yeah.
Not that. That's not what I'm talking about. When you leave, will God say, well done?
My faithful servant.
Yes. Well done. Well done. That's something that you have to look forward to, man. Is that going to happen? Or you, like I said, or you just going to be somebody that just went through life and took what he could take, and then you just died a sad old man or woman or whatever. Because, you know, there is the alphabets now. So you have to be careful with
that. Well, I know we try to all be like that in our lives, whether you entertain or not, perform or not. But I hope any young musicians up and coming, or you're just beginning your career, or you're in the middle of your career trying to figure out which path you should take, I hope you heed these words of the very wise and very talented Mr. Larry Braggs.
Well, I'm not that wise. I'm just giving you, man, that people have told me, you know, they've told me on my journey here, man, you know, it's just, I don't know why these things pop into my head, but there's this little segment I saw with Denzel Washington on TikTok, you know, and I won't say the whole thing, but he said a dream without a goal is just a dream. and will ultimately fuel disappointment. Yeah. A dream without a goal is just a dream, man. It will ultimately fuel disappointment if you're not doing something to make it happen. On the road to your dream, you must apply. He said two things. I think it was consistency and discipline. Because without commitment, you'll never start. And without consistency, you'll never finish.
That's what the Old Soul Club is partly about. It's about talking about old music, new music, classic music, the history of music, and how to just be a stand-up guy, a stand-up musician. It's about all of that, and ultimately, all of us being stand-up in what we do and what we choose to do, no matter what that is.
Hey, man, just be true to the calling to yourself, man. Don't let anybody tell you that won't work. Try it. Don't get down the road 20, 30 years and go like, man, I should have tried it. Try it. Try it musically. These kids these days are coming up now, bro. They playing out the box, man. They playing outside the box. I mean, the way they're playing now, some of the licks they play, some of the grooves they're putting down.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, they're very talented. That whole auto-tune thing, just to like get on that for a second. The auto-tune has in some way helped singers sing in tune because kids that are listening to these things. I'm talking about the auto-tune when you have things perfectly in tune. Not the auto-tune when you just have not that.
Yeah. When
you have people singing perfectly in tune, because they have been tuned to that perfection. Kids now who are listening to that, their ear is being trained on another level.
I noticed that. You're absolutely right, because one of the things that fascinates me about these young people that come up, even if they're on shows like America's Got Talent or not Star Search, I'm showing my age, but whichever one, America's Got Talent and The Voice.
Star Search.
I'm showing my age here. Hey, once again, I'd like to remind y'all that it is called the Old Soul Club, and I'm an old soul, the Pope of Soul, Phil Redmond, here with the one and only Mr. Larry, Dr. Soul Braggs. We appreciate you tuning in every week. And remember, every Tuesday at 8 a.m., we'll be dropping episodes from now until one of us has to go in for hip surgery.
Do you really think I'm going to let you get out of that Star Search thing you just said by dropping that little tidbit right there? We're going back to the Star Search.
Nope, you're going to have to, because we're running out of tape. The little man in the booth tells me that we got to wrap it up. And once again, just wanted to let you know that you tuned into the Old Soul Club. We really appreciate y'all's comments and all of your positive vibes. Go ahead, send us home, Mr. Bragg.
Hey, man. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to see you next week, unless Star Search takes our place on the podcast. We'll see y'all next week. I'm out. Peace. Y'all take care of yourself. Be safe. Hey, Pope Soul.
Hey.
I see you on the show with Ed McMahon, my brother. Y'all be good. Brought to you by Larry Bragg Coffee. That smooth, soulful roast.
There it is. Y'all have a wonderful week. Be blessed, and thank y'all for joining us. See you next week.
Oh, Star Search.
We bringing Ed back, man. We gonna bring Ed back.
Later.
Gonna wheel him out on the stage. I bet you he'll give me 4 stars.
Say good night, John Boy.
Good night, John Boy. Y'all be blessed.
Peace.